How would you like to have some of America's most scenic locations all to yourself this summer? In case you haven't heard, due to COVID, RV sales and rentals are booming, and I think we can expect America's national parks to be very crowded this summer. Hi, I'm Jen Grover, and this is Rocky. This week on Tab Talk, I'm going to share 5 secret spots that I like to visit when I visit national parks that are actually outside of the park. They help me to avoid both the crowds and in many cases the heat. Make sure you stay tuned until the end. I have information about another national park that could impact your trip. While I haven't been to every national park, I have been to many of the most iconic ones. If you'd like to see my photography from these locations, be sure to follow me on Instagram, like my Facebook page, and visit my website. Don't forget, I have an exciting announcement coming in a few weeks, and I don't want you to miss it. Be sure to hit the subscribe button so that you receive notifications when my content is posted. Stay tuned for this week's episode of Tab Talk. Perhaps nothing has epitomized the American family vacation as much as Yellowstone National Park has over the last century. Hordes of people crowd around the park's sensational geothermal features and create traffic jams anytime a bear is spotted. You can escape the maddening crowds by taking a trip out of the Yellowstone northeast entrance to the Beartooth Mountains. Late CBS News correspondent Charles Corral once described this road as the most beautiful drive in America. From the tiny mountain town of Cooke City to the ski and gateway community of Red Lodge, US 212 winds its way through breathtaking scenery, where wildlife and alpine lakes are both often easily found. Combine this drive with the Chief Joseph Scenic Highway for an unforgettable drive. There are numerous campgrounds as well as boondocking spots all the way along US 212 and the Chief Joseph Highway. I spent one night at the Hunter Peak Campground, which is a small National Forest Service campground right off the Chief Joseph Highway, where I had a unique opportunity to watch a cattle drive in action. I discovered the amazing beauty of the Kolob Terraces when the thermometer climbed over 100 degrees and the crowd seemed equally as overwhelming at Zion National Park. You can hike the very scenic Valley Trail, where we saw fresh mountain lion tracks, visit Kolob Reservoir, or soak in the poetry of tall grasses waving against the backdrop of beautiful Navajo sandstone. There are some boondocking spots to be found before you enter the national park boundary, and also at the reservoir. In the heat of the day, temperatures were up to 20 degrees cooler along the terraces. The Grand Canyon can feel more like a theme park when you pull into the parking lot and see the massive crowds. But if you venture to the North Rim, not only are the crowds fewer, but the temperature is cooler as well. Also, there is a National Forest campground just outside of the park boundary to the north. It's not only more pet-friendly, but it's very cool in the summer heat. DeMotte Campground is at 8,700 feet, and you won't have to worry about air condition even in July. This alternative isn't necessarily cooler, but it is a lot less crowded. Kodachrome Basin State Park has some really unique stovepipe sandstone features, and it provides easy access to Bryce, Escalante, Grosvenor Arch, and Cottonwood Canyon. In Escalante, you will find some of the most amazing slot canyons on Earth. Taking US 12 from Escalante to Capitol Reef National Park is one of my favorite drives. Cottonwood Canyon has some very unique beauty as well, but be sure to check the Interagency Ranger Station in Cannonville to determine if the road is passable, because it can be very difficult in wet weather. If you have time to visit the area where the old Pariah movie set stood, you will have the chance to see some very unique and colorful rock formations along the Pariah River. It is very easy to be overwhelmed by the crowds and the heat in Moab, but an afternoon drive through the Sandflats Recreation Area to the LaSalle Mountain Loop can help you escape both. About half of the way through the drive, there is a barely visible left turn for the Castle Valley Overlook. This gives you an incredible view of the huge buttes in Castle Valley. I've never caught the right sky there, but it is nonetheless worthy of the stop. Low clearance vehicles will want to park at the turnoff and walk in, but it isn't terribly far. If you are comfortable with narrow single-lane roads and steep drop-offs, keep going after the Castle Valley turnoff and take the road until it connects to the LaSalle Mountain Loop. If that sounds like a little too much for you, there is plenty of room to turn your vehicle around near the Castle Valley turnoff and return to Moab. There are campgrounds both in the Sandflats Recreation Area as well as the LaSalle Mountains. The Sandflats Area Campground is a large campground on the outskirts of Moab, while the LaSalle campgrounds will be a little further out, higher in altitude, and you can expect cooler temperatures. I've dropped coordinates and links in the description below for you. Glacier National Park is going to be a challenging visit this summer. Why do I say that? In addition to the usual challenges that plowing going to the Sun Road pose and the recent COVID challenges plaguing all of our national parks, Glacier is planning major construction on Many Glacier Road. This will lead to up to 40-minute delays each way from Babb to Many Glacier Hotel this summer. It might be the right summer for you to spend more time on the west side of the park. When our trip got turned on its ear last year due to the historic early season blizzards, we retooled our plans and stayed at a commercial campground just outside of West Glacier called Glacier Campground. It was a beautiful campground with heavily wooded sites and more privacy than I have experienced at many national park or Forest Service campsites. What secret spots do you have? Go ahead and let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week on Tab Talk.